Egoism is a philosophical doctrine that places the self at the center of ethical consideration, asserting that individuals ought to act in ways that promote their own interests. It is one of the most debated concepts in moral philosophy, raising questions about the nature of morality, human motivation, and the relationship between self-interest and the common good. While often misunderstood as mere selfishness, egoism encompasses a broad spectrum of thought, from psychological observations about human behavior to normative theories of ethical action. At its core, egoism can be divided into two primary forms: psychological egoism and ethical egoism. Psychological egoism is the descriptive claim that humans are inherently self-interested and that all actions, even those appearing altruistic, are motivated by personal gain, whether it be pleasure, avoidance of pain, or social approval. Philosophers such as Thomas Hobbes argued that human beings are naturally driven by desire and self-preservation, suggesting that altruism is ultimately illusory. Psychological egoism does not prescribe how one ought to act. Rather, it attempts to describe human behavior objectively. Ethical egoism, by contrast, is normative. It posits that individuals ought to act in their own self-interest and that moral actions are those that maximize personal benefit. Thinkers such as Ayn Rand have famously advocated for this view, framing rational self-interest as both a moral imperative and a path to personal flourishing. Ethical egoism challenges traditional moral frameworks that prioritize duty, virtue, or collective welfare, arguing instead that the pursuit of one's own well-being is not only natural but ethically justified. The philosophy of egoism raises significant ethical questions. Critics argue that if everyone acted purely in self-interest, social cooperation, empathy, and justice might break down. For instance, conflicts could arise when one person's gain directly harms another, suggesting a tension between egoism and broader social harmony. Proponents respond that enlightened self-interest can align personal benefit with communal well-being, creating a balance where pursuing one's own good does not necessitate harming others. In this sense, egoism intersects with utilitarian and contractualist considerations, illustrating its potential compatibility with social ethics. Egoism also has profound implications for understanding human motivation and agency. By centering the self, egoist philosophy emphasizes personal responsibility, autonomy, and rational deliberation. It challenges individuals to critically evaluate their desires, goals, and actions, fostering a form of ethical introspection grounded in self-awareness. At the same time, egoism highlights the tension between short-term impulses and long-term flourishing, suggesting that true self-interest requires discipline, foresight, and the cultivation of virtues that support sustained well-being. Furthermore, egoism can be extended to broader philosophical and psychological domains. In economics, for example, the assumption of rational self-interest underpins much of classical and modern theory, from Adam Smith's notion of the invisible hand to contemporary models of decision-making. In psychology, understanding egoistic drives helps explain behavior ranging from ambition and creativity to competition and social comparison. By acknowledging the centrality of self-interest, egoism provides a lens through which both individual and collective dynamics can be analyzed. In conclusion, the philosophy of egoism offers a provocative and enduring framework for thinking about morality, motivation, and human nature. Whether understood as a descriptive claim about human behavior or a normative ethical principle, egoism challenges conventional notions of altruism, duty, and social obligation. It emphasizes the centrality of self-interest, rational deliberation, and personal responsibility, while also engaging with questions about social harmony, justice, and the balance between individual and collective well-being. In doing so, egoism remains a vital and influential perspective in moral philosophy, encouraging reflection on the interplay between self and society, desire and duty, and the pursuit of one's own good within a shared world.